Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will show you how you can retire in 10 years or less no matter what your income is. Now this video will be very similar to another one of my videos where I showed that it's possible to retire within 10 years if you invest half of your income into an asset or assets that gives 8% yearly returns on average. But the main difference in this code and video will be the addition of a savings rate so that you can change the amount you would like to invest, and the addition of a withdrawal rate, which is the amount that you would like to take out from your investment. Now, I'm currently on Google's website. It's called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So all you have to do is go to this website and then log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So to get started writing this code, go ahead and click on File, then click on New Notebook, where a new tab will open up for you, and then eventually a new cell will open up for you. And when this cell is done loading, we're going to write a description in comments. So here I'm just going to put description, and I'm going to put retire within 10 years. Okay. All right. So next you want to go ahead and click this code button in the top left to create a new cell. And in this cell, I'm going to import the libraries that I plan on using throughout the program. So I'm going to import NumPy as NP. I'm going to import pandas as PD, and I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and then I'm going to give the plot a style. So I'm just going to type plt.style.use, and I'm going to use the 538 style. And then I'm going to run this code by clicking this button here to the left, and this will let me know if I made any mistakes or not. Okay, and it looks like I'm good to go. So no mistakes. Let's go ahead and create a new cell. And before we go on any further, I should also say that the material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice, and that you can get the code through Patreon at patreon.com/computerscience. All right, so let's go ahead and continue now. So in this cell, I want to get your savings rate. So this is the amount of your income that you can save or invest as a percentage. So I'm going to create a variable called savings underscore rate, and I'm going to set it equal to 64%. So that's 0.64. Okay, next I'm going to get your yearly income. So I'm going to create a variable called income, and I'm going to set it equal to, let's go with $30,000 for now. So we're just saying that you make $30,000 a year. All right, so next I want to get your yearly expenses, and I just say your here just for anybody really. It could be me, you, anyone else, but we're going to get your yearly expenses. So I'm going to create a variable called expenses, and I'm going to set this equal to the income times 1 minus the savings rate. All right. Okay, so now this will be, the expenses will be 36% of the income in this particular case, right? Because our savings rate is 64%. So if I made this 0.5, then our expenses would be our income times 1 minus 0.5, which is 0.5, right? So it's still going to be 50% of our income as well. All right. So let's go on. And now let's go ahead and get the interest rate from your portfolio or assets. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable called interest underscore rate, and this will be the average rate of return from your investments. So let's say that you get 8% on average per year. So I'm going to put 0.08 for 8%. All right, next I want to get the amount that you will invest into the portfolio or assets. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable called investment, and I'm going to set this equal to the income minus the expenses. So basically what this means is, this means that whatever's left over from our income after getting rid of our, or subtracting our expenses, that's what we're going to invest. So we're going to invest everything after we take care of our expenses. Okay, or you take care of your expenses. All right, so next I want to calculate the expected annual return. So I'm going to create a variable called annual underscore return, and I'm going to set this equal to investment times the interest rate. All right, and then I'm going to get the year, the current year. So I'm going to create a variable called year and set it equal to 2022. And last but not least, I'm going to get the withdrawal rate. And this will be the percentage that you want to withdraw from your investment. So I'm going to create a variable called withdrawal underscore rate. And I'm going to set this equal to 4% or 0.04. And I'm doing that for the 4% rule, which basically states that you can take out 4% of your investment per year and probably never run out, never deplete your investments. Okay, and if you want to learn more about the 4% rule, I'll put that in the description below. I have a video on it that you could check out. All right, so let's go ahead and run this cell. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to create empty lists. And I'm going to do this for the data set that we plan on, or that I plan on creating. So I'm going to create a variable called year, or a list called year, set it equal to empty list. And then I'm going to create a list called yearly underscore income, set it equal to an empty list. And yearly expenses, yearly underscore expenses, set it equal to an empty list. And yearly underscore invested underscore amount, and then total underscore invested underscore amount, and annual underscore returns. All right, so we have those lists, and let's go ahead and run this cell. All right, so let's create a new cell, and now in this cell I want to append some of that data that we already have up here to some of these lists. So let's do that now, and we're actually going to append it to all of the lists. So what I'm going to do is I'll just type this here. We're just going to type append the data to the list. All right, so first for year, I'm going to append the year. Okay, then for yearly underscore income, I'm going to append the income. And for yearly underscore expenses, I'm going to append the expenses. Okay, and then for yearly underscore invested underscore amount, I'm going to append the income minus the expenses. All right, and then for total invested amount, or total underscore invested underscore amount, I'm going to append investment. And then last but not least, annual returns. For annual returns, I'm going to append, or annual underscore returns, I'm going to append annual underscore return. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. All right, everything looks good. Let's create a new cell. All right, so now this cell here will contain the meat of the program. This is where we're going to do all of our calculations. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable to store the amount of years invested, and I put years here. I'm also going to put slash rows for the data set. So each year will be a row in the data set. So I'm going to create a variable called invested underscore years, and I'm going to set this equal to 30 so that I get 30 invested years. And then I'm going to loop through in invested years minus 1. So for I in range 0 to invested underscore years minus 1, we're going to do some calculation. So you may wonder, why did I put minus 1 here? And that's because I've already appended a year here. As you can see, this will be one single row of data here. So we already have one row of data. So 30 minus 1 leaves 29 more rows of data to add to our list. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is update the investment to be the yearly amount that you can contribute, which will be your income minus your expenses, plus the expected average annual return, which is of course the annual return, plus the total of all the previous investments, which will be investment. And that may have sounded complicated, but I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do here. It's just one line of code. So I'm just going to type investment, and I'm going to set it equal to income minus expenses. And then I'm going to add in the annual return. Okay, and then I'm going to add in all the previous investments. So whatever investment was before, I'm adding that. All right, and that's all it is. That's it. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I need to update the annual return to be the current investment times the interest rate. So let's just update annual return to be equal to investment times interest underscore rate. Okay, and then I just need to append the new data to the list. All right, so I'm just going to come back up here. I'm going to highlight all of this and copy using Control C, then come back down here and paste it using Control V. And then I'm going to just tab these over here. All right, and I want to append the year, right? I want to append the next year, the next year, the next year, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to add I plus 1. All right, so this makes sure that I keep increasing my years. All right, or keep incrementing my years. Okay, so that updates the years right here. The investments get updated, the annual returns get updated, so we're good to go. Let's go ahead and run this cell. Okay, everything looks good. And I'm going to create a new cell. And now I'm going to create the data set that will contain all this information. So I'm going to create a variable called df, which will be short for data frame. And I'm going to set it equal to pd.dataframe. So that will create a new data frame for us. And then I want this data frame to have a column called year. And I'm going to set it equal to our year list. All right, next I'm going to create, let me go down here. All right, another column. And this column will be called yearly underscore income, right? The same as our list. And I'm going to set it equal to yearly underscore income. So I think you can see how this is going to go. Next will be the yearly expenses column, and it's going to be equal to our yearly expenses list. And then I'm going to create a yearly invested amount column, or yearly underscore invested underscore amount column, and set it equal to the list name equivalent. Okay, and let's do total underscore invested underscore amount, and set it equal to total underscore invested underscore amount. And then let's create a column called annual underscore returns and set it equal to the annual underscore returns list. All right, so I think that looks good. Now I'm going to create one more column, and I'm going to call it yearly underscore withdrawal underscore amount. And I'm going to set it equal to the equivalent list. But of course, that list does not exist right now, so we have to create it. So I'm just going to highlight all of this, copy using Control C, and then I'm going to make some space right in between this last column and this previous column here. And I'm going to paste it here using Control V. And let's create that list. So I'm going to set it equal to np.array total invested amount, or total underscore invested underscore amount, times the withdrawal rate. Okay. So let me just highlight this, copy using Control C, and then come here and paste it using Control V. All right, and now we have our columns and all the data associated with those columns. So let's go ahead and run this cell. Let's create a new cell. And now I want to show the data set. So I'm just going to type df here. Let's go ahead and run this to show the data. All right, and there we go. We can see we have the year, and we see that the years increment by 1, just like we wanted. We have the yearly income. So of course, we're assuming that your yearly income stays the same in this case, which most of the time, I wouldn't say most of the time, but a lot of time, you know, incomes will increase or possibly decrease. Here we have the yearly expenses, and you can see that we're assuming that the yearly expenses stay the same, they stay constant. And then we have the yearly invested amount, which is the amount that you're going to invest into your assets or portfolio. And then we have the total invested amount, which lets you know how much you have invested in total. And then your annual returns based off of that annual return percentage that you expect per year on average from your total invested amount. And then we have our yearly withdrawal amount, which basically helps us keep track of when we can retire and take out only a specific amount. In this case, it's 4% of our investments that will cover our yearly expenses. All right, so if I scroll down here, we need to find a yearly withdrawal amount in this column that is greater than or equal to 10,800, right? And that will tell us when we can retire. So that seems to be right here. And this row is, let me just slide it on over here. All right, so this is row with index 9 or at index 9. So that's year 2031. All right. So let's see this more visually. I'm going to create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to visually show the data. So just type plt.figure, give the figure a figure size, and I'm going to set the figure size equal to 12 by 4. And then I'm going to plot the expenses, the yearly expenses. So just type plt.plot, and then for the x-axis, put year. And then for the y-axis or axis, put the yearly expenses, yearly underscore expenses. And this needs to be in quotes. All right, and let's go ahead and give this a label. So I'm going to call this yearly expenses. All right, next I want to plot the yearly withdrawal amount. So we're going to give the x-axis the year, and then the y-axis will be the yearly underscore withdrawal underscore amount. Okay, and let's give this a label. So I'm going to set this equal to yearly withdrawal amount. All right, let's give our plot a title. So type pt.title, and I'm just going to put years until retirement. All right, let's give the x-axis a label. So type pt.x label, and it's just going to be the years. And let's give the y-axis a label. So pt.y label, put USD for United States dollar, and put a little dollar sign. All right, and now let's give our plot some x ticks. So type pt.x ticks, and that will just be the years. So just put df year, and let's rotate those labels. So set rotation equal to 45 degrees, and then let's show that legend. So type pt.legend, and then let's show the plot. So type pt.show, and let's run this. Okay, and now we can see that information, all this data here. Well, not all of it, right? We're just looking at the yearly expenses and the yearly withdrawal amount, but we can see that data here on the plot. And we can see not until 2031 are we able to retire, right, when those lines cross. And that's exactly what the data said, right? It was in year 2031. Okay, so that looks really good. Now, instead of us looking through the data set, how about we just show the year or row where you can live off of your returns. So let's go ahead and create a new cell. And here I'm going to show the year /row where you can live off of your returns. So just type df and then df dot yearly underscore expenses are less than or equal to df dot yearly underscore withdrawal underscore amount. Okay, and only want the first row of data, so I'm gonna put dot head and then put 1 here, and let's run this. Okay, and we found it. It's the same year. Now we can just see it instantly. Okay, so by year 2031, or by the end of year 2031, I should say, you will be able to retire. So now let's play with the numbers a little bit. Let's go back up here at the very beginning. All right, and let's say that you're making, we'll go with $5,000, or that's 50,000 actually. Let's make it $5,000 a year. I'm just going to click on run time here and click run after. So it's going to run every cell after that cell and including that cell. All right, and now we look at the data. It looks like it's still going to be 2031 until we retire, but now our yearly expenses are only $1,800 a year. Our yearly income is $5,000 a year, and we're investing $3,200 a year. Okay, but by the end of 2031, we should have $46,356 and about, I'm just going to round this to 99 cents here. I'm just going to stop here on 99 cents. So you're going to have $46,356.99 invested or in an account by that time period. So let's go ahead and go back up here, and that's really not realistic, right, to live off of $5,000, at least not in the United States. So let's say that you are making, we'll go with 50,000 this time. Let's go ahead and click on run time and run after. All right, and we're still saving or investing 64% of our income. So now our yearly expenses are $18,000 a year. And we can see that by year 2031, we'll have $463,569.99. Okay, now that looks good. I'm going to try one more thing here. Something I want to show you all is that your your income is important, but also what's really important is your savings rate. So let's say that you could save, and this is going to be a lot. Let's say you could save 80% of your income. Let's click run time, run after. So we're saving 80% of our income on a $50,000 per year income. So that means that our yearly expenses are $10,000 a year, and we're investing $40,000 a year. Let's see when we'll be able to retire, by what year. All right, so you can see already the graph or this chart shows that the years have been taken off just by us increasing it, or increasing our rate, our investment rate. Right, I'll go up here. It's called, our savings rate. By increasing our savings rate 16%, we have taken out a few years, or removed a few years until retirement. So now we can retire in year 2027, or by the end of year 2027. All right. Well, that's the end of the video. If you would like to start investing, then click the link below to get 2 free stocks in the description on Webull when you deposit $100 or more on their platform. Also, if you would like to support this channel or just get the code in this video, then I will leave a link to my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/computerscience, and I'll leave that in the description below as well. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.